On behalf of the Board of Directors, welcome to your annual meeting. When it comes to electricity, the world is changing rapidly. Today we'll provide you with a closer look at the changes and show you how we're adapting as a cooperative to ensure electric service remains reliable and affordable for the 42,000 member owners of Lake Country Power. Our annual meeting speakers include General Manager Greg Randa. He'll talk about the benefits of LCP's long-term approach in the face of an uncertain energy environment. We'll also hear from Mark Bach, our Director of Finance and Administration. Mark will provide a look at the numbers and report on the 2014 independent audit. Board member Sherm Lamatainen, who serves as president of the Co-ops Holding Company, will give us an update on your subsidiaries. And Rick Lancaster, Vice President of Generation at Great River Energy, will share what GRE is doing to transition its power supply investments to keep up with the rapidly changing regulatory climate. Our goal today is to provide you with relevant information about Lake Country Power so you leave this annual meeting a more informed member and that you have a better understanding of the challenges and opportunities we consider as a board when making decisions that affect the affordability and reliability of electric service. Before I call on Greg, I'd like to share a story or maybe a little history that ties in with the topics that you'll hear tonight. I know there's a few people in the audience here that can relate to what I'm going to say here. Back in the day, people used to work on their own cars all the time. With a little know-how, you could easily replace points, condenser, fuel pump, brakes, even an engine overhaul with a fairly basic set of tools. Looking back as a kid, I remember watching my dad change spark plugs and overhaul engines in the garage. He liked working on cars and trucks, or anything mechanical, and he was good at it. I believe it's the reason my brothers and I enjoy working on cars and almost anything mechanical today. One of the first projects I ever worked on was a 1955 Chevy short box step-side pickup. The project involved overhauling the engine and restoring the body. I would have to say the best sound I ever heard was when that rebuilt engine fired for the first time. Being a young kid, that was something. Despite all the hard work, that truck did not make it to my 10-year class reunion. Like most vehicles in northern Minnesota, salt, rust ate away at the truck, and it took its toll on the engine as well. So if we look at today's cars, not everyone can work on them or would even want to work on them. They are much more complex, the bodies, the technology, the specialty tools. You need to be more than a good motorman or mechanic using the basic tools of the past to work on today's cars. Today, it is not uncommon to hear of a car running as high as 250, maybe 300,000 miles. With the old cars, you were lucky if you ever saw 100,000 miles. And it had 100,000 miles, you most likely didn't want it. Thankfully, our co-op electric systems have had a much better run than our old cars. Many of our electric lines date back 50 to 60 years. Lake Country Power operates more than 8,200 miles of line across parts of 8 counties in northern Minnesota. That's enough line to stretch from New York to LA and back again. Of that, there are roughly 2,000 miles of line and equipment in need of replacement due to age. Given the expense and the ongoing need for upgrades in areas where electric usage and demand has increased, there's a constant need to change out old poles, wires, and other equipment. As a board, we support a measured approach to balance the need for affordability with the expectation of reliability. As old parts of the system are replaced, present and future co-op members will benefit from another 50 to 60 years. But not all investments are age-related. The board endorsed carrying over unfinished tree clearing work from 2013 into 2014, which resulted in more than 1,000 miles of right-of-way clearing under Lake Country Power lines last year. And we continue to support investments in technology to make electric service safer and more reliable, your monthly bill simpler and more accessible, and customer service efficient and more professional. As a board, we outline the vision, develop strategy, and approve budgets that align employee goals with organizational objectives. Taken together, it all supports the co-op mission. As a board, it is our responsibility to make sure the staff and employees have the right tools, the right equipment, and appropriate budgets to meet our service expectations, not just for today, but for the next half century or more. That's a timeline that today's well-made cars can't match, unless they sit in a showroom or a garage and only run a few times per year. Compare that with your electric distribution system that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You don't see it, hear it, or even think about it unless the power's out. But it's hard to match the value of the longevity of co-op electric service. The challenge, as we'll hear about tonight, is to keep changing and adapting while keeping electric bills affordable. Once again, thank you for taking the time to attend your annual meeting and learn more about your co-op.